Hello everyone, I'm Rachel Tessman from stampyourartout.com and I am here to bring you a live paper crafting class here on YouTube and or Facebook, wherever you're watching from. A big welcome to all of you, especially if you're new to my channel. I hope that you stay and enjoy. Today is Wednesday, October 5th, 2022 at 11 a.m. Central Time as I'm broadcasting to you live. So if you're watching this after that time, you're probably watching the recording, but comment either way. So if you're on the live, I'd love to hear from you. Hi, Eve. Yay, Facebook is working. And I'm happy about that. Oops, hang on a minute. I got a little thing here that's messaging me. The server is not available. Continue recording. Oh, jeepers creepers. We've really had some technical issues lately. I hope that this is still going okay. Can you guys confirm that I'm still on? Hi, Melanie. The reason why I mentioned I was glad to see Eve's name is because last week or not last week, but the week before, when we were live doing the piggy cards, Lisa Marshall did tell me, she assured me that it was recording live on Facebook, but we can't find the video. Her and I were searching for it this morning because I wanted to put all the comments into the drawing. I do this random drawing for prizes based on all the comments that had happened since the live took place. And we couldn't find it. Facebook, I tell you, I think that's what's making my hair fall out. So anyways, no, there's all kinds of things that could be doing. But anyways, Facebook is ticking me off right now. But thank you for those of you that are commenting on Facebook, because that tells me that it's working. And thank you for all of you who are commenting, because you're going to get entered into a prize drawing. So let's introduce Lisa Marshall on Facebook. And actually, Lisa Marshall is on YouTube with me today, I believe. I hope she got on. Trisha needed to go to a meeting. She had a prior engagement that she couldn't miss out on. So anyways, Lisa said she was going to come on over to YouTube today. So I'm going to look for her name and see if she shows up as we go. I didn't even check with you this morning, Lisa, to make sure that you were able to connect and get on. Now, if you see Lisa's name, say hello to her. And yes, we can say hello to Trisha too. But I'm looking at the comments down here, just checking to see if she's shown up. But anyways, yes, she is my moderator on YouTube. And I need a moderator more so on YouTube than I do on Facebook, because Facebook I can go back and comment on the comments when I have the time, unless the video disappears. But YouTube, I cannot on those lives. So if you're commenting live on YouTube, I need my moderator. So hopefully she's here. Okay, in this video, what are we going to do? We are going to do some embossed splatters. It's a simple technique, but something that you need a little practice with, I should say, just because you want to get the right consistency, you want to tap it the right way, and no two will turn out the same way. So it's just a technique video today, but we're going to put together two cards. I promised you one card, but I'm going to work on two at the same time and see how far we get on it. Lisa, I see your name showing up. Yay. And she's got the wrench symbol next to her name. That means that she logged in correctly. Yay. Awesome. So she's going to check out your comments and make sure that you're here. Make sure that you're okay. And I've made sure she's here. So embossed splatters, we're going to do a few other artisan type details as I create the pretty pumpkin cards. And we're going to use the Hello Harvest stamp set, the coordinating rustic pumpkin dies, the leaf fall embossing folder, and some other things like the gold and vanilla satin ribbon and some blends markers, rhinestones, Wink of Stella, daubers, all that kind of fun stuff. So we're working on artisan level quality cards, except you can do this, right? So, okay, so you know to comment, you know to sit back and enjoy. We are going to now go to the computer here. I want to show you the list of supplies and the measurements that you would need. Now, I know in the beginning some of us tried to follow along with these, but it is tough to do so. So please just enjoy, and then you can come back and recreate the card or project yourself afterwards. So, but yeah, if you want to follow along, those are the measurements. We're using basic white for the base cardstock. We have other colors, Coastal Cabana and Soft Seafoam on one of the cards, and then pumpkin pie on the other card for our pumpkins. I have listed, you can see after the word dimensionals here, I've listed the supplies that are needed for the second card. And there you can see images of the cards. It looks like a long list of supplies, you guys, but once you start paper crafting, you're going to accumulate some of the basic tools like a trimmer, snips, adhesives, things like that. I list them because I want beginners to be able to see what they need, and you don't have to buy it all at once unless you want to. And thanks for the comments on my hair, you guys. I'm experiencing hair loss, and I am seeing a dermatologist. I've got a plan in place. I love that you guys give me advice. You don't need to at this point. I've got so much advice. It's crazy. I've been diagnosed with alopecia, and we're going to confirm it today. We're going to do a biopsy. I'm going to the doctor later on. But yes, losing the hair. It's just a fun phase of life, right? And so I have this thing called a topper. It's like a wig, only it's only a narrow strip right here, and it sits on top of all my other hair. So I've got all my other hair underneath here still. It's just making it look a little bit fuller. Now my hair is all messy. Okay, so let's go to the desktop, and I'm going to show you. Whoops, there we go. Here I am. I'm going to show you the suite that I'm focusing in on. We are coordinating this video and this project with a blog hop because my all-star group is doing a blog hop, and it's going to go live at 4 p.m. Central Time today. So that's in about 5 hours from now. At that time, you'll be able to click on the link in the post, which will take you to my blog post. You can see photos of the cards that I'm going to be sharing today. You're going to see the video embedded in there. You're going to see a list of supplies that are visual, measurements, all of that. And that one PDF that I showed you on my computer, you'll be able to access that and download that, okay? Also, bonus, if you love this suite, you'll be able to click on the names of the other demonstrators in my all-star group, and you're going to be able to see projects that they created using the products in this suite. So we're going to be using today the Hello Harvest stamp set and the rustic pumpkin dies. And we're also going to be using the Embossing Editions toolkit. I'm not using that beautiful paper. I'm not using these gorgeous embellishments, and I'm not using my 12 by 12 basic black, which I've been begging for to come back, and it is back. Did you guys know that it's back? So if you're a scrapbooker, the 12 by 12 is back. All right. So let's go ahead. Actually, I'm going to show you the cards first, okay? And I'm going to zoom in a bit. So this is the one that we'll mainly be making. It's the one that has most of the supplies. It's the supplies are listed for it, and the measurements are listed for this card. The measurements are not listed for this one, but I'm going to explain them to you as we go. Okay. And again, if you're a beginning crafter, you can do this. All right. Some of these tools are maybe, you have to invest in over time, like the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, heat embossing tools, that sort of thing. But you can do this. All right. So let's go ahead and bring out the trimmer. This is one of the tools that you got to have when you're first starting. Oh, and let me show you the cardstock colors. So we're using in the first card, there we go. We are using, oh yeah, all of these 5 colors. So basic white thick, which is great for card bases. We're using soft seafoam and Coastal Cabana. Those 2 colors are going to be used for the pumpkins, because you guys, have you seen that there's like different color pumpkins out there? Not just orange. So I thought it'd be fun to do some bluish and greenish ones. And then the stem of the pumpkin is in soft suede. And and then we also have crumb cake. Sorry, I'm catching comments again. It's so fun to read your comments as we go, you guys. So fun. You're helping each other out. All right, let's go ahead and cut. Oh, and then these 2 colors we'll use for the second card, Old Olive and Pumpkin Pie. So let's go ahead and cut our thick basic white. And I have to zoom out even more. We have 8.5 by 11 cardstock here, and we're going to cut it, and we can cut it in two different ways to make our A2 size cards. We could cut it in half this way and then fold that half in half, right? Or we could cut it in half this way and fold that in half, okay? And you can get two cards from one sheet of 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I am going to cut for you the base that we need for the orange card right now, just because I've got the other one cut already. So let's bring in those two bases. That's what they look like. If you're going to cut 5.5 by 8.5, you're going to score at 4.25. Now, if you're working in metric measurements and you have the A4 size cardstock, you guys, if like you're in Europe or South Pacific or whatever, actually I think South Pacific uses inches. I don't know. Anyways, just cut your cardstock in half and then fold it in half. All right, because I don't have the measurements handy with me right now, but it's going to be a very easy card to convert to the metric A4 size. Now, if your cardstock measures 4.25 by 11, you're going to score at 5.5. And I've marked my blade with the word score. I've marked my light gray blade with the word score, just with a Sharpie marker, just so that I know the difference between the cutting blade and the scoring blade. Another thing that I do, and you'll see it on this one, is I mark, can you see that? Maybe not. I've marked my blade with a little black dot. Don't know if you can see that. And that's just for me to see when I want to change my blade in the other direction. So once I've used it in one direction, I just draw a dot on it and I flip it around and I use it in the other direction. I'll show you what I mean. So I always cut my cardstock in one direction. So we're going to cut the next layer, okay? We're going to cut 5.25. So we're just going down a little bit. We're going down 1/4 of an inch in each direction. So I'm going to use my dark blade now and I'm going to cut. And I always push up when I cut. I'm going to cut the next one or the next direction at 4 inches. See how I'm pushing up? So I'm a pusher with my cutting, and some people use their cutters down here. And I'll show you what I mean. So let's do that again. So you've got your measurements along the bottom here. You can do your 4 inches, and they might be a puller, okay? They might pull the cardstock down, and see, I don't like doing it down here because then where's my 5.25 inch mark? But anyways, if you're a puller when you cut, then you want to continue doing that, but that means that you've only dulled one side of the blade. If you cut in both directions, you're dulling it evenly in both directions, but you just take your blade out at the bottom here and you turn it around and you've got the other side of your blade ready to go. Okay, we've got our two layers that are the same, and this is what we need for the green and blue pumpkin card, because we need a layer on the outside like this, and we need a layer on the inside. We're going to do a layer on the inside, yes. Now, if you're doing, and I'm just going to set that over there, if you're going to do this card here, then you can see I don't have an extra layer on the top. There's no extra layer there, but I do have a layer on the inside. So we have that piece cut. We also have a little sentiment strip for each of our pieces there. And then the only other cardstock you need is scraps for die cutting. So again, if you're using metric A4 paper, you can convert this pretty easily. So let's take now our cardstock that we're die cutting. Actually, this is bugging me. I got to fold these. When my cardstock doesn't sit flat, I have to use the bone folder to just give it a good crease. That's ready, and that's ready. Another thing for beginners is if you flip your card in either direction and you can see both sides, I can see kind of both edges here, that's going to be my back. Okay, you don't want to see both edges. Let's grab our scraps, and I think I only have one scrap out because the other ones are already cut. So I'm going to bring in the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. Woohoo! All right, this is a nice tool. Now, if you want this tool and you can't justify spending the whole amount on it, you can get it for a little less with the starter kit deal this month. Just saying. Okay, I've got my platform number 1, my die adapter number 2, then I've got a scratchier plate on the bottom, number 3, and my cleaner plate on top. After my plate on the bottom gets scratched up enough, I am going to throw it away, or change it out or whatever. Depends on how scratchy it gets. And then I can use this plate, which will get marked just because it's putting pressure on the metal dies above. This is going to get marked up, and this one will become my bottom one. Okay, I'm going to use one of my dies, and let me show you all the fun dies here. These are the dies that come in the Rustic Pumpkin set of dies. They coordinate, by the way, with the Hello Harvest stamp set. You saw it when I was showing it to you in the catalog, right? And now you can see up close that we've got some texture that we're going to get into our pumpkins. We've got it into our stem. We've got some fun detailed dies here. And then we have the open dies, which frame the images that you can stamp. Sometimes you can use the open dies with the designer paper that coordinates too. So stamping while watching, Cheryl, are you making the same card? I'm interested to know who stamps along with me and tries to do the card at the same time, because I tell you, I think that might be kind of hard. But anyways, yes, these outline those other stamp images. Anyways, so yeah, let's grab this one, and we're going to put that cutting side and embossing side down onto our soft seafoam cardstock, and put our other cutting plate on top. So it's sandwiched between. Now, if you want to, at this point, to get a deeper cut, now this is more with detailed dies, especially large detailed dies. At this point, then I would flip it over for those detailed dies, just saying, hi, Julie. Yay! Julie was live with me a couple years. How many years ago was that now, Julie? Julie is my friend. She's my friend from high school, from grade school, actually. Anyways, she's with us. Say hi to Julie Wolf, you guys. Okay, here is our pumpkin, and it's cut and embossed. Let me zoom in on that so you can see it. Yes, she did a video with me and was my moderator as far as like she stood and watched the comments roll in. So that because that was back in the day when I wasn't on YouTube, I don't think. Anyways, but it was still hard to answer questions. So she answered questions while I was live in the same room with me. It was so fun. So fun embossing on that, right? Okay, we're going to take and do some inking. I've already done all the other die cutting for that card. I've got my other pumpkin. I've got a stem that we're going to ink up. So let's do the inking part next. I'm going to toss those. Okay, let's keep this, and let's keep this. So we need the platform. Ooh, that's zoomed in way too far. Let's keep the platform, and then we're bringing in number 4 because we're going to do some embossing, dry embossing. In fact, maybe we'll do that right now while we have this here. So we're going to dry emboss for this card. We're going to dry emboss it with it open like that. And we're using the Leaf Fall 3D embossing folder. You can see that you get these falling leaves on here. It's so fun. I'm just going to insert the embossing folder in like this so that the image that stops along the edge there is lined up with the edge of my cardstock. And I can check that by just kind of bending my cardstock there. Okay, so we've got those on there. We're going to put this between the platform and the gray mat, the specialty plate, I guess it's called, right? And we're going to crank it through. Now, I've told you before, you guys, that if you're going to bring an embossing folder into your machine, that you should lead with this edge, because you don't want to put a lot of pressure on the embossing folder. But when you're doing it with a long paper like this, you really don't have a choice. So there is our embossed paper. I just love, there's certain steps in paper crafting where my kids use the word satisfying. It's satisfying. Like it makes me just happy. I love that. Isn't that so pretty? It's so satisfying. Okay. They have videos out there, you guys, where they just show things that are satisfying to look at. Now for this one, we're just going to set it in there like that. And we're going to aim it in with the folded part of our embossing folder. And that's for our blue and green pumpkin card. Pumpkins. Pumpkins, you gotta love them for all kinds of reasons. It's actually one of the things, pumpkin oil is one of the things that people say helps to grow hair. So I'm taking pumpkin oil supplements too. It's crazy. It's crazy. I don't know. We'll see, you guys. What works for some doesn't always work for others. And yes, I've gotten all my blood work done. So a lot of you are like saying, oh, check your thyroid, check your vitamins, check your minerals, all that. And yes, I've had lots of blood work done. So we have a path for that. Okay, so I've got my 2 embossed pieces. This is on the full card base. This one's just on a layer. And that layer is going to go on top like this. But let's go ahead and do some inking now. Let's bring in, actually, you know what? Let's do this next. Let's do our splatters. This is the part that you all came for, right? Because we kind of have to let some glue dry. We're going to use glue. We're going to use our multi-purpose liquid glue, Tombow brand. And we're going to use some water. And I found it easiest to kind of spray the water in rather than use an eyedropper or try to get it under the faucet and get the right amount. The spray bottle just kind of helps to get a good little dripping in there. So I don't know. Can you tell how much I have in there? It's not much, right? So just did a couple squirts just to get this glue, which I'm going to kind of go right over the puddle with, just to get that glue a little watered down. And we don't want it a lot watered down, otherwise it's going to get, it's going to dry flatter than we want. We want a little bit of thickness to it so that it will, where am I? There they are. So that it will, sorry. What did I say? So it'll still sit kind of like in a gluish state, right? We don't want water where it looks like it's going to soak in, okay? And I'm not saying that pumpkin seed oil will work for everybody. Did I tell you that? You guys, what works for some doesn't work for everybody. But yeah. Okay, sorry, just seeing some comments roll in. So it's just a little more watery, just a little, not a lot. And you can see it's still hanging on to my brush. Okay. All right. So let's do a little practice run. Let's open up this scrap grid paper and just kind of see what happens here. I'm going to take and tap the brush. I was going to do this earlier today, you guys, but I got so lost in trying to find that Facebook video, the recording from 2 weeks ago with the piggy cards, that I lost time. Okay, so I'm just going to tap, and I'm going to tap against my bone folder or something hard. You could use your scissors, you could use take your pick tool, you could use the brush that comes in the embossing accessory, this thingy here, the embossing toolkit stuff, right? Anything hard that's firm. And I'm just going to take my water painter and I'm going to tap. And I see a little tiny mark there. There's another one. There's another one. But there are some that you sometimes don't see too. Okay, are you seeing them? You're seeing them, right? Sometimes you don't see them all. And that's where my card got a little crazy. So let's just try to add some embossing powder. Now it's not complete, it's not on the tacky side yet, so I really shouldn't be adding this yet. But I'm curious. I'm curious to see it. See, I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I want to know if there's more. So I'm just going to kind of sprinkle this on top, and then we'll put it back into here. Now this is another bonus to having this tray. Gosh, I need to wipe that out. It's got a lot of powder, embossing buddy powder in it. But the bonus to having this tray is the same reason I have my embossing powders stored in these, and I haven't switched them out yet just because I don't have the original containers. But you can take and just dump your powder from the original container into this. It's nice. Okay, so now we're going to take and we're going to tap this back into the container here. And let's see what we got. See, there's a couple of them. There's a couple little dots on there that I didn't see. And if you wait a little bit, then these things don't run either. Like on my first card, I put the embossing powder on too early, and then I tapped and the glue, and it could have been because the glue was too runny also. Like if it was too runny, or if you don't wait a little bit for it to kind of get sticky and solidify a bit, then you can have these things run. Like they look like drips coming down. So be careful of those things too. Okay, so now I'm confident, you guys, I'm confident. Let's get a little more glue on the brush. And I don't want it like dripping off the brush. But here we go. Now on the first card that I'm making, the blue and green pumpkin card, I am putting the glue down on the base layer. Oh, that's looking great. Kind of wish that my glue would have been at this consistency when I did my first one, because this is looking great. Probably because I'm going slow. But yeah, I want some little glue drops in there. We're going to move this aside, and I'll be sure to clean this right away after the video is done, because you don't want that glue drying on your aqua painter, your water painter. We have water painters now. So I'm going to take and let this sit for just a couple seconds. Okay. Let's move. Actually, let's do some sponging. Let's do some inking, I should say. So keep that over there for now, and let's grab our pumpkin. No, we don't want pumpkin. What do we want, you guys? These three colors. We want soft seafoam, soft suede, and Coastal Cabana. Let's start with Coastal Cabana. And I'm just going to grab a dauber. You can stick it right on your finger. And we're going to grab the Coastal Cabana cardstock. And you know what? Since this has some glue on it, we'll just go like that. There. Make sure that we don't get glue on the back side of this puppy. Okay, so we've got some ink on there, and now we're just going to take and kind of rub a little bit of it off so it's not so deep, and we're going to go over the top of our pumpkin. And I think it was still a little too deep. That's okay. It's a little dark. Okay, so yeah, tapping or pouncing onto your paper will kind of lighten the ink a bit, but we're just adding some ink around the edges and on top of where the embossing is to make it stand out a little bit more, just to give it some oomph. Some oomph. Fun, fun, fun. All right, so there's that pumpkin. And it looked more like that, and now we added ink. So it darkened it just a little bit, gave it some shadow, some depth. Let's switch daubers and inks, and let's move to the soft seafoam color next. So for soft seafoam, I've got another dauber. But if you don't want to spend money on a ton of daubers, you can clean them out, let them dry off, okay? I actually label my daubers, most of them. Coastal Cabana I didn't have labeled. But I label them, and then I store them into like an embroidery floss container or something. So I know Deb, she just said I would never have thought to use glue. And you know what? Let's do the embossing powder now. I don't want it to dry too much. It might have dried too much. Oh, it didn't. Yay. Okay. Yes, I saw the idea shared elsewhere, and I'm like, that is genius. So let's go ahead and add that all over the surface of the card and tap to get off any excess. And it looks like I did the same thing I did on my original card where I got a bit of little tiny speckles here and there. Those are probably from microscopic little bits of glue. Okay, so that's why you probably don't want to do it too much if you don't want to have tons of little spots of embossing powder. Yeah, I feel like those are stuck on there, but I'm going to see if I can brush any away. I don't want all of them. I don't want all of them. Yeah, that's glue. So I had little tiny speckles of glue on there that I didn't see. That's okay. That's okay. We'll deal with it. Okay, so now I'm going to grab my heat tool. That's why I said not all of them are going to turn out the same way, right? Hi, Barb. Thank you. Oh, good. Good, good, good. All right, so here we go. I've heated my heat tool. I just kind of warm it up off to the side. I'm turning it on full. And I'm going to hold my cardstock at an angle and turn my, see, I'm holding it at an angle. I'm not aiming the heat tool towards me. And I'm just heating up the little tiny gold embossing powder dots that we put on with glue. You can also heat from the bottom. You can heat on the surface of a table. What's going on? Oh, that's just a lot of powder on there. You can heat on the surface of a table that's heat resistant. You can heat on cardboard, like chipboard, that's got foil on it. Sorry, I'm trying to see the color change here. Did we use gold? I hope we used gold. It's dark in the room. Or my eyes are going funky today. Oh, I'm seeing it now. It's working. Yay. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty. That one I think I overheated, but that will get covered up with a pumpkin. Don't do embossing in a darker room, all right? Yeah, I waited for it to dry a little bit. Oh, now I can see it, yes. I waited for it to dry a little bit, and then I sprinkled the powder on. And that just, again, allowed the drips not to get drippy looking. In fact, can I show you one on here, or did I cover it up? I might have covered it up. But those are little gold flecks. Really hard to see in this camera, you guys, right? Hopefully you could see it in the photos that I have on my blog. Okay, so notice the gold flecks aren't on these pumpkins here, right? So we just did it on the background. Why are they not sparkling? Maybe it's the camera. Anyways, so yes, so that's done. It really works, I swear. Maybe if I turn on this light. Let me try this light over here. I have to grab it and shift it in here, and let's see if we can get the gold to show up a little bit better. Hang on. So I've got my lighting. Can you guys see the gold? I hope so. It's there. This one looks better. Why does this one not look that great? I'm going to heat it one more time. Hang on. I hope I used my gold embossing powder. I did. I think I overheated, you guys. But you can see there's a little gold reflection on some of the dots. Can you see that? Oh, I'm going to trust the camera, you guys, okay? You guys just tell me that you can see it, and that'll make me feel better. I need to move on. All right, next, we're going to do the soft sea foam, and we're going to sponge. And again, tap off any excess so it's not super dark when you start, and then bring in your color. Looks the same. Yes, sea gold. Oh, good. Thank you, Belinda. Okay. Good, good, good. I think that's hard. Sometimes like the Wink of Stella, which is something I'm going to demonstrate too. Wink of Stella is hard to show in a camera also. But as long as you guys see it, because for me, on my end, I think the camera doesn't look as bright. Like it doesn't show off stuff. Good. Thank you, Tony. Okay. Oh, Bonnie sees dark specks. So she didn't see the gold. Maybe some of you see it and some don't. Laura said dark specks. Really? As long as you see it, it's okay. Love it. True, because in person is where you really, you know, you don't give somebody a card. Here, you can see it on my camera. You give it to them in person, right? Or you send it to them. Okay, so now we're adding soft suede. But that was the whole reason for you guys coming to this video, was the embossed speckles. Okay, we did all the colors. I'm glad some of you saw it. Maybe go back in the replay and watch it again, or brighten the computer light a little bit. Okay, I don't have a clean spot on here. But now what I want to do is I want to take some ribbon. So we're going to use 16 inches of ribbon, and I'm just going to use my grid paper because it's 16 inches long. And we're going to color it because it comes in vanilla and gold. All right? Just being positive. Melanie said, just being positive. So really, I did not have gold showing to you guys. Oh, that's so sad. It's gold on this end. I'm going to just move on. Okay, we've got our blends markers, and I'm using soft seafoam, and I'm going to use the dark one and the brush tip. And we're just going to run that brush tip along the outer edge of the ribbon. And if I do one edge and then show you the other side, you'll be able to see the difference. Because it's a very, very light color. But blends markers, they're alcohol based, and they will dry. It takes a few seconds for them to dry, but they will dry. Can you see the difference? There's a slight difference there. Maybe if I just hold it up with the paper, you can see it against the white. There you go. And so they will dry on there, and even if you got the ribbon wet, it would not come off. Now, if you poured rubbing alcohol on top or something that reacts with alcohol-based markers, it would make it bleed, but you're not going to do that, right? And it actually kind of goes through to the other side too, because this ribbon is a fabric and it's sheer enough, it's thin enough where it goes right through. This is another one that I did earlier, and this is in the old olive color. So you can change the colors of your ribbons. If you did not know that, it's so true. You can make them different colors, especially if they are a vanilla or a white base to start with. If you're using any other lighter color, like a green or something like that, and you add a let's just say green and no, let's say the ribbon is blue and you add a reddish color or pinkish color to it, it might be more like a purple. Okay, because that other color will still be in the fabric. All right, so we've got that done. Another thing that we're going to do with our blends markers is we're going to color a few rhinestones. So we're going to take our dark old olive. Now I have brought out 2 different dark old olives because I want to show you what can happen when you color your accessories, especially things like rhinestones, anything that's got a little bit of sharpness to it. And you don't think these are sharp, but they are. They can do some damage to the tip of your blends markers. So we're going to open up both of these, and I believe this is the one that got, nope, this is the newer one. So that's the way your tip should look. But I'm going to use my more rattier one on my rhinestones, which now looks like that. All right? Because you can damage them. Just saying, be careful, or buy a couple sets. Okay, so we're going to color a few rhinestones in here. I think I did 5, 3. I only did 3. Okay, I guess I have 4 now. So we're going to put those aside. Let's bring in those inks again because we need to do some stamping. It's all coming together. I promise you, it's all coming together. take that and move it away and bring in our inside pieces. We'll start with those. So our inside pieces for each card have some leaves on the inside. For the orange card, I'm just going to take the pumpkin pie ink, open it up, and I'm bringing this back in because I like to keep my grid paper that I'm showing you stuff on. I like to keep that a little clean. Hey, thanks for sharing the video. Thanks for telling me you shared too. When you comment or when you share the video, make sure you say the word shared or whatever, but that just helps me out. So I appreciate it when you guys comment. All right, so we're gonna take and stamp the inside with a stamped off leaf, just because that's really dark to begin with. So we're gonna stamp it off and then we're gonna stamp it onto, oh, I'm way in the corner here. Stamp it onto the corner and then before, actually I'm gonna ink it up one more time. This time we're gonna stamp it twice. Once, twice, and then we're going to come back and just, we can overlap. It's good to overlap, and we're going to stamp that again. And now we have two different shades of orange leaves, and they look like one's a little bit further forward. The darker one looks like it's coming at us more. Now on this one, we're going to change to the different colors. So I'm going to quickly clean off my stamp. And for this one, I'm just going to use full color. Okay, so you can use full color also. We're cleaning off our stamp. I didn't actually lick it. Sometimes I actually lick my stamps when they don't have a lot of ink on the bottom. And then I press it down again. It's just so I don't have to go over to the stamp and scrub. Beginners, don't lick your stamps. It's gross. Okay, let's do the light one first. So we're going to do our light one, which is the soft sea foam. How many of you lick your stamps? And we'll stamp that one up in the corner. And then we'll take the color off again, or clean it off. And we'll ink it into, because this one's a little bit darker, it's not going to matter. It's not going to affect the color of my Coastal Cabana. And we'll stamp that one down here. Okay? So that is the look that I'm getting for the inside of both of those cards. One is stamped off. Now I could have done full pumpkin pie color. I just didn't want to. Okay, I wanted to kind of keep it the same way I did my other card, and I wanted a lighter version on the inside of each. The next bit of stamping is to be done on these pieces here. First though, I'm going to punch them. Okay. Are you saying interesting idea and wonderful technique with the cleaning of the stamp? Anyways, I'm catching the comments like about 30 seconds later than everybody else. And I'm seeing a weird little thing on my iPad here. I'm hoping that I'm still going live here. I hope so. All right. So the second demonstrator that say that they lick their stamps, Patricia says, yeah, I don't always. I just do it when I'm in a hurry. All right. So we're going to stick our paper, which is 1 inch wide, into this punch, which has a 1 inch wide little section here to kind of guide your paper in. It also has a section that is 3/4 of an inch wide and a 1/2 of an inch wide. And you can do that. You can get this kind of a cut on the end or this kind of a cut. This shows you what your paper will look like. We're going to push it all the way in. And I like to flip it over just to make sure that it's all the way in there. And then I punch. So I'm going to do that with both of these pieces because again, we're trying to do 2 cards at the same time. Oops, that one got crooked. There we go. See, it's good to check the bottom. We've got those pieces done. If you don't want to invest in a punch, because again, it's just one more tool, you can take and just hand cut right into the end of your paper. Soft suede is the color we're using. And we're going to use the sentiment in the stamp set now that says, "You are such a blessing." We're going to stamp that really close to this left edge. I got glue on there or something. We're going to stamp that really close to the left edge, like so, because it's going to come out of the pumpkin, which is going to be to the right of it. Okay, just tapping it lightly and pressing it firmly. And now we have our 2 pieces for our sentiments. All the stamping is now done. We're going to move to assembling. So for our main card, let's work on that one. For our main card, we're going to start with the front. Now the front of the card, if you want to compare here, you can see this ribbon layer is around just this piece. It's not around the base. So that is the next step, is to take our ribbon layer and to tie it. So we're just going to do an overhand knot like that. To tie a knot, do right over left. This is the way I do it. Right over left. The top one, which is the right one, comes back down, folds in half. This one folds in half the opposite way, and you twist and you cinch. Then you use one of your fingers or a friend's finger and hold that middle part down as you take top over the bottom, but off to the side like that. Take that top one, fold it in half, but do not fold this one in half. Just pull. And that's how I get my knots. Okay, and then you can kind of move it like up and down or side to side. This one I kind of want more up and down, but it typically will go side to side. Then I just take and I curve my cardstock and I shift it to where I want it. And this one I really want right at the end. Okay, I want it to sit right at the end there. Let's trim it. There we go. And then we're going to add our sentiment and pumpkins and all that good stuff. So let's bring them in. And yes, I already did die cut and sponge. I've got all of these pieces done. So the first step is to add the stem to the top of your pumpkin, and I'm just going to use my fine tip glue. I'm sorry, not fine tip glue, my multi-purpose liquid glue, which I've transferred into a bottle like this. This kind of bottle, by the way, you can find in my favorite extras, I should say, on my website at stampyourartout.com. So if you go to stampyourartout.com, click on the shop tab and then click on my favorite extras, you'll be able to find this precision tip. Okay, and that goes right here on the back side of our bigger pumpkin. And the stem, by the way, the base of the stem is pretty large. So on that skinny one there, it kind of goes right to the edge. So you kind of have to have your stem all the way down. We're going to layer these 2 pumpkins, and we're going to layer them with a couple dimensionals placed on the back left side of this pumpkin. I'm just going to go right here with them. Just putting 2 right there. And I'm going to connect them. Now that'll give them lift away from each other like that. Okay, so you can see that there's a shadow there. It gives that look of being lifted. But when I add this whole thing to the front of my card, I'm not going to put 2 dimensionals under this. I'm just going to put 1 on that side, even though it's lifted already. So I'm just going to put 1 on this side, 1 on this side, and this will sit slightly at an angle, but not enough where you're going to notice, and it's still going to give the illusion of it's still going to give the illusion of your pumpkins being double stacked. Darcy, licking stamps causes hair loss, she said. That is hilarious. Thank you. I will stop licking my stamps now. All right, now we've got these fun tendrils, and I forgot the name of this last week when I was doing my recorded video for all of you. I had to go to one of my doctor's appointments, but it wasn't for my hair, it was for my Morton's neuroma. Oh my gosh, I'm falling apart, you guys. Yeah. Menopause is fun. Okay, so we're going to take and put these little guys onto our pumpkins now. This one I think I have tucked back like that. So because I have it tucked back like that, I'm just going to add my adhesive right in here, just in that spot. And actually I'm going to do a little bit on the back side of this loop because I know where it's going. I already pre-checked it out. Come on. There we go. So it's going to go behind here and it's go on top of this right there. Okay, there we go. And then we'll just bring this loop to the front. So there's one of them. Another one looks more like this, and we have the adhesive going pretty much everywhere except for this spot along that bottom little curve. So we'll just ink up along the bottom. Not along the loopies, just along the bottom curve. Okay, so that loop over here, ignore it, and this top part, ignore it. And we'll just stick that on so it looks like it's a continuation of the other one. And we'll stick it on like that. I love the liquid glue in that you can move it when you first stick it down, and you can manipulate it, make it go where it needs to go. We have one more coming out the front, bottom, sorry, the front of the pumpkin, but the bottom part of the pumpkin. Front pumpkin, not the front of. And that's going to just go right in here, like that. Okay, so this loose one here, you'll probably want to glue flat to your card, even though you're going to put this one up on dimensionals, because otherwise it's going to stick up and away and it might get caught up on stuff. Okay, now the next step is to add our sentiment. So we're going to put our sentiment on here. We're doing everything just on this layer before we add it to the card. So we're going to stick our sentiment on here, and I'm going to put the ends of it up on dimensionals again. Okay, just the end. So we're doing a triple layer look now. So this is going to go over here, and I know that it's going to fit there because I just eyeballed these like that. And I'm going to stick it down. Okay, so depending on how wide your pumpkins are, you may have to adjust where this piece sits. Those fine tip glue bottles are a must. Yes, I agree with you, Ginny. All right, now we're going to tuck this one under the ribbon so we can still see the ends of the ribbon, and we're going to add these with dimensionals. So we'll just take our dimensionals. We'll add one here, trying to move away from where the dimensionals are already at. So I don't want to put any right in this spot. One there, and then on this side, right there. And that will allow my card, because I've got dimensionals here and I've got them here, it'll allow my card to still flatten down only one dimensional thick when I put it through the mail. All right, thank you. So now we've got the stickies off of there, or the release paper I should say, and we're just going to tuck that under the ribbon. We're going to stick these down right about there. And see, now you have this triple layer look. So this looks layered, this looks layered, this looks, I mean, it looks like you've got all these multiple layers, but really it's only one dimensional thick because of the way we added the dimensionals. I'm going to flip this over just a tad, stick a little bit of glue down here with my precision little applicator, stick that down, and now we can add this to the front of the card. Again, with dimensionals. But because we're putting them in spots where there are no dimensionals lined up with them already, we will be able to still have our card mail. Okay, so I'm sticking them in the corner. I'm not putting them everywhere. I'm just putting them in the corners. And that will give the illusion that the whole layer is up on dimensionals. See? Isn't that fun? The inside of the card. The inside of the card has a couple little tendrils, and I'm going to show you this one here. A couple little tendrils wrapped around. So what I did for that one is I took one of these guys, and I think this one here, I think I just went like that with it. And then the other one, I went like that. So that's how I got the inside fun little look. And I'm not going to glue those down because you know how to do that. And then this whole layer is just stuck down with some more glue. So it's just glued down. There's no dimension on the inside. And that is the end of those cards. Why did I color rhinestones? Because we have the other card. So this one here has a little bit different look to it. We didn't use the embossing powder, I should say. We used instead Wink of Stella. but I did that afterwards. So we're going to take and layer everything up quickly here. Let's take and glue, stick it on, stick it on. I'm going to do the tendrils later. I'll do those afterwards. Then we layer these, because yes, I'll still be able to add those in there. Oops, layer on the left side, couple right in the middle here. Release paper, connect those two together. I like to have one down a little bit further because again, perspective, it makes you look like that one's closer. It's not only on top, but it's down further on the horizon. So it gives you the look like you're looking off into the distance, right? Then we put this piece on, and we put this on directly onto our cardstock. There's no ribbon on this one at all. Oops, get under there. Okay, and again, you'll want to check to make sure that everything fits on there real nicely. I think I have this one down in the lower corner a little bit too much. I'm going to bring it up a bit. So that's where I'm going to stick that. And then I want dimensionals on the back side of this where there are none on the front side. So right there and there. In fact, I could even do a thin little dimensional. If you really want to make sure it's pulling away from where that is, you can do a thin little dimensional right through here. Okay, and then we're going to put dimensionals on the other side. Right there and there. That will go on like this. Again, pretend I have the tendrils on there, and then we bring in those rhinestones. The Take Your Pick tool is awesome for applying them. I stuck one underneath the blessing banner and another small one right next to it. Stuck a small one right up here, and then a couple over to the right. So one like that and one like that. Inside was done, oops, that's the one I just finished. Inside was done the same way, wrapping those fun little guys, these little wormy guys, the tendrils, around, but we'll do that at a later date. Shove those off to the side. So this is where we come to, how did I add speckles on this one? So for the speckles on this one, I brought in the Wink of Stella. Yay! Okay, the green colors, Brandy, I use Soft Seafoam and Coastal Cabana, inks and cardstock. Sorry, I just caught your comment, so I thought I would answer really quickly. What am I looking for? My bone folder. Where did I put it? Bone folder. I can use really anything, but it's gone. It's on here. It's on the table somewhere. All right, so I'll just use this. There. Okay, so for the Wink of Stella, we have this fun shimmery paint. And if you tap it onto your project, you will get tiny, microscopic little shimmeries, okay? The tendrils do make the card, you're right. The pumpkins are kind of dull without it. I flattened it out. I think it's going to be easier. And on that card, I just went like this all over. And it's hard to see in the light. Let me see if I can see it. I probably won't be able to show it to you. Yeah, there are some little speckles on there, but let's see if this one is a little juicier. I have 2 Wink of Stella markers. Let's try that. I'm seeing some come out. Oh gosh, yeah, you can see them now on the pumpkin. If I turn just so, what if we zoom in? Oh, there! You can see that, can't you? I just needed to zoom in. There you go. There's some little speckles there. On the pumpkin, you can see them the most. Where it's the darkest cardstock is where you can see it the most in the camera. Do you see those speckles? Kind of fun. So that's what I did all over the surface so that even the pumpkins had a little bit of speckle, little bit of glittery to them. And in the blog post that's connected to these cards, I do have close-up photos of the cards so that you can see both shine, both glitz on each card. So a couple ways to get glitz. The Wink of Stella is simpler, but it's a little less, it's a little more subtle. It's definitely something that's harder to see. Although the camera picked up the shine better than this one. Let's see if we can zoom in on this one. The shine is there. I see it. I'm sorry you guys don't. Oh, here's the card we finished. There. Still not seeing it, I bet, though. Sunshine. It's there. It's gold. They're gold, I promise you. All right, let's zoom out and put both cards out so you can see them. This is the one I already had pre-made, but we didn't finish the other one. So we'll just set those out like that. Open this one up so you can see the inside. And those are our finished cards. Very fun. Fun, fun, fun. Oops, zoom out, Rachel, zoom out. So again, as I mentioned at the beginning, and thank you for those of you that did comment because you're going to get entered into the prize drawing. But as I mentioned at the beginning, I draw for prizes. And the last live video, which was 2 weeks ago, the piggy card, I couldn't find it on Facebook. So if somebody finds that link in the next couple days and sends it to me, I can do a drawing later too, but I'm not finding it. Neither was Lisa. And I can't draw for a winner there. So I only have one winner from the after live to share with you today. I will pull that up on my computer here. And this winner comes from the after live comments on YouTube. So if you're watching on YouTube, after the live is done, there's another place to comment. Comment away. Thanks, Brenda. How are you? So comment away and you can get entered into the prize drawing. What's the prize for last week? The last week's winners had a choice between the basic white note card pack or the precision tip bottle and multi-purpose liquid glue. So let me show that to you really quickly so you can see the choices. So the winner gets a choice between this pack of note cards and envelopes or this combo right here. Again, this is after live, but I also want to tell you that we have some winners that didn't claim their prizes. And so I want to give a shout out to Jutta, Jutta, Jutta M. Email me if your name is drawn, by the way. So Jutta M was drawn live last time, but she never claimed, she never got back to me on glue bottle and the glue or the note card set. Now, if you live elsewhere, you don't live in the US, I can still send you a tutorial of your choice as your prize. So there's always a prize for anybody, everybody, right? And everybody has that choice of tutorials too. The week before, there were a couple winners who did not claim their prizes either. And so I'm just going to pull in the prizes from the week before. We had pick two available. So we have some products that you could have picked from. And we have two people, one from the afterlive that didn't claim their prize and one from the live. So Deb Carlson, you were drawn during the live on that one 2 videos ago. And Jackie Anderson, you were drawn, oh, I'm sorry. Deb Carlson was drawn after the live and Jackie Anderson was drawn during the live. We have effervescent elements, we have ribbons, we have an embossing folder called Painted Texture, we have felt flowers, we have this fun stuff that you could use for tool shakers. It's a tulle type of ribbon in crumb cake color. So pick two, those of you whose names I just called. Oh, sorry. One more for the pick two. We have these fun little library clips too in olive, espresso, and white. So the prize for this week is a tutorial. So if you have your name drawn by Lisa, Lisa's pulling up 2 prizes for us today. If your name is drawn and your name is called out in her comment, then you get to pick a tutorial. All prize winners, please email me at stampyourartout@comcast.net to claim your prizes. So yes, if your name is drawn by her, reach out to me. You get to pick a tutorial. So I'm going to bring you over to, oh, I didn't tell you who the winner was. Hang on. Okay, she did call it out. So we have Vay and Deborah Landau. Yay! Vay S and Deborah Landau. You get to pick a tutorial of your choice. You could pick the one that's the Rustic Harvest if you want to. That's the one that we just released from the All-Star group. But I forgot to tell you who the winner was from the After Live on YouTube from the Piggy card. Silly me. Let's go to my computer. Sandy Christensen. I got so caught up in in talking about the prizes from the week before too, and who didn't claim their stuff. But Sandy Christensen, you were the winner drawn from the After Live comments on YouTube from the Piggy video. And again, for Vay and Debbie Landau, was it Debbie or Deborah? Now I'm forgetting. You won the, yeah, I'm scrolling through, it's gone again. But you won the tutorial pick, so yay. Oh, Deborah, thank you. Okay, I want to show you, for you prize winners, how to find, and I'm going to take this off of here now. So you go to my website, stampyourartout.com. Once you're there, you're going to click on, where did it go? Shop, okay? Oops, hang on. I'm sorry, I clicked something accidentally. There we go. So you're going to click on shop. You can either go visit the online store to shop for the products I just used, or my favorite extras, or you can go right down to tutorials and then skim over to the word tutorials for the prize winners, and this is how you can access peeking at all the tutorials. And there's pages and pages of them. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it keeps on going. So click through those and see which one you want. Now, if you're loving this Rustic Harvest stuff, you can either purchase the tutorial outright, or you can earn it with a $50 order in the US through me. Or you can earn it by being on my Stampers with Art group, in my Stampers with Art group. So what's that all about? It's getting the starter kit. I mentioned it kind of at the beginning. The starter kit plus is, and I'm going to find it on my blog here. The starter kit plus is a new starter kit special that just started yesterday. And what you get is an additional $30 worth of product that you normally wouldn't get. But the kit deal is always the best anyways. Plus you get to be in on discounts, become a discount shopper, pre-order, all that fun stuff. So let me show you. Here it is. Going back to the computer. The Starter Kit Plus special. So the Starter Kit Plus special, oh boy, I was into pumpkins lately. It's $155 worth of product. So this is where you want to get that Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine if you don't have it yet, right? You get to choose up to $155 worth of product. You pay $99 plus tax. The shipping is free, always on starter kits. Business supplies that come with it are not charged either. Those just are free in case you want to choose not to do it as a business. You don't have to. You can just be a discount shopper. Anyways, that's going on through the month of October. So if you're interested, let me know. Email me, reach out to me on my blog, all that kind of thing. All right? Someone just asked, how do I ask a question? You can, probably the quickest way is to email me. Oops, that's my blog. There it is. Email me and I go through my emails all the time, okay? All right, so look in the description of the video for all other kinds of links that you might need as far as like shopping for the products I used today, the specials, that sort of thing. I hope that you enjoyed this video. I went really long today, but we put together 2 very pretty cards and showed you some artisan techniques with them. Next week, I'm going to show you some cute gnome stuff. You'll want to come back. So that video is going to be on October 12th at 11 a.m. Central Time. I hope that you come back and join me. And now I would like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye, everyone.